Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Harrison County High School basketball. I'm Jim Swinford coming to you from Monticello Heights Gymnasium, where this afternoon, continuing action in the Riverview Meat Company Pit-Off Classic will be continuing with the Harrison County Fillies taking on the juggernauts of Lloyd Memorial. This will be the third game of the day. Earlier in the first game, in a boys' game, Newport defeated Augusta, and the game just completed a girls' game between Holmes and Paris had their way with the Lady Bulldogs 72-11. There will be two more games after Harrison County's game against Lloyd Memorial. At 5:15 in a boys' game, Bracken County takes on Central Hardin, and rounding out today will be the Thoroughbreds taking on East Jessamine. That game slated to start at around 7 o'clock. Well, it's been a rough start to the season for both of these teams, Harrison County and Lloyd Memorial. The Fillies lost at St. Henry on Wednesday, 43-20. Meanwhile, Lloyd Memorial lost their opener at home to Covenant Holy Cross, 66-23 on Wednesday. And then last night, they lost at home to Campbell County, 66-49. Both teams will be trying to get their seasons on track with a win here today. Right now, both squads are out on the floor going through their pregame paces. We invite you to stay tuned as we'll come back and take a closer look at both Harrison County and Lloyd Memorial. You're listening to Philly Basketball on WCYN Sports. Alrighty, back here at the Hilltop. We're about 10 and a half minutes away from the tip-off of our third game, Harrison County and Lloyd Memorial. Well, the Juggernauts are coached by Paul Sturgeon, who's in his fifth year at the helm of the Northern Kentucky School. Last year, Lloyd Memorial was 15-14, but lost in the first round of the 34th District Tournament to Dixie. They do have three starters back from last year's team, so some experience on the part of the Juggernauts. Led in scoring by junior Sierra McCoy, who averaged 16 points per game last year. Lloyd Memorial is rated in the middle of the pack in the always tough 9th region. Meanwhile, the Fillies had a hard time finding the basket in a 43-20 loss at St. Henry. They tied the score at 6 apiece after a three-pointer by Bailey Hudgens with 2 minutes left in the first half. But that's when the Lady Crusaders took off, scoring the next 12 points in a row to take an 18-6 lead. And by halftime, the Fillies trailed 26-9. Harrison County needs to find someone who can put the ball in the basket. The Fillies made just 6 of 37 shots for 16% in that game against St. Henry the other night. Harrison County compounded that problem by committing 24 turnovers and were also out-rebounded by St. Henry 30-19. The Fillies must do a better job in all aspects of the game if they want to pick up a win here today. Well, we got a decent crowd for this afternoon's ball game. What we'll do right now is take a break and then come back and give you the starting lineups of tonight's contest between Harrison County and Lloyd Memorial. You're listening to Philly Basketball on WCYN Sports. righty, back here at the Hilltop. You're listening to the pregame show being brought to you by Cynthiana Hardee's. Well, Riverview Meats is the sponsor of this day's tournament. They offer local pasture-raised, hormone-free beef, pork, and lamb for sale. Looking for quality, locally sourced meat? Then Riverview Meat Company has what you're looking for. You can purchase their products at 312 West Pearl Street in Cynthiana, Stepping Stone Farm in Paris, and 68 West Farm Market in Carlisle. Check out their Facebook page and website for a holiday specialty cuts and gift boxes. Don't forget, Riverview Meat Company gift certificates make the perfect Christmas gift. Riverview Meat Company was formed to meet the livestock processing needs of local farmers. Riverview Meat Company offers both USDA inspected and non-USDA inspected processing of beef, pork, and lamb. You don't have to travel hours for this service anymore. Give Summer a call at 859-234-4121 to schedule your appointment. From processing to retail, Riverview Meat Company cares about its customers. We can't wait to serve all your processing needs. Let's take a look now at the starters for this game between the Fillies and the Juggernauts. First for Lloyd Memorial, 0-2 on the yearly season. They're coached by Paul Sturgeon. At one of the guards is a 5'6 senior, number 5, Mackenzie Runyon. Another guard is Kirsten Young. She wears the number 11 and is a 5'6 junior. At a third guard position, a 5'6 junior, number 30, Sierra McCoy, who's their leading scorer. The fourth guard is Malia Ham. Ham wears the number 15, and she's a 5'7 freshman. And at the forward, a 5'8 junior, number 2, Brooklyn O'Clerc. So once again, for Lloyd Memorial, it'll be Runyon, Young, McCoy, Ham, and O'Clerc. For the Harrison County Fillies, 0-1 on the year. At a guard, a 5'6 senior, number 13, Brooke Kinney. Kinney scored a point in the loss the other night up at St. Henry. At another guard is Keely Custard. She's a 5'4 freshman who wears the number 21. She had a team-leading 9 points in that loss the other night. The third guard is Bailey Hudgens, Harrison County's point guard, a 5'6 sophomore who wears the number 23. She had 4 points in the loss the other night. At a forward, a 5'9 senior, Caroline Van Hook. Van Hook wears the number 22 and had half a dozen points in the loss to the Lady Crusaders. And at the other forward, a 5'9 freshman, number 42, Marley Toll. Toll failed to score in the game back on Wednesday. So once again, for the Fillies, it'll be Kinney, Custard, Hudgens, Van Hook, and Toll. Harrison County lost that game to St. Henry, as we talked about before, 43-20. So there are your starting quintets for tonight's ball game. But while we have this opportunity, let's take it back to this station to Bruce Templeton from Unity Christian Church with tonight's pregame prayer. Alrighty, back here in this game between Harrison County and Lloyd that's about to start in about 3 minutes or so. This will be the fourth meeting between Harrison County and Lloyd Memorial in girls basketball. Lloyd Memorial has won all 3 of the other meetings. The first time was back in December of 2015 at Newport High School at the Donna Murphy Classic, a game that was won by the Juggernauts 51-30. They met again in December of 2019 on the only game in the series played here at the Hilltop. Once again, though, it was the Juggernauts coming out on top 59-33. Two teams also got together last year that up in Erlanger at Lloyd Memorial High School Gymnasium, a game that Lloyd Memorial won 56-42. So a very short history between these two schools. Well, while the teams continue to warm up, we'll take another break, come back, and take a look at what else is going on across the Hilltop sports-wise. Right after this, you're listening to Philly Basketball on WCYN Sports. Alrighty, back here at the Hilltop. After today's game, the Phillies will be taking off for several days as they won't be back in action until next Friday. Rather long extended off time for this early in the season. But in any case, next Friday, the Phillies will be at home once again as they'll host the Lady Eagles of Covington Scott. Then on Saturday, Ludlow comes to town. The Lady Panthers will invade the Hilltop for a game that will, the varsity game will begin at 4:30. There's a JV game at 3, so note that change in the regular times. 3 o'clock JV, 4:30 varsity next Saturday for the Phillies here on the Hilltop against Ludlow. Meanwhile, the Thoroughbreds also will have an extended time off after their game tonight against East Jessamine. On Friday, they'll go up to Northern Kentucky, up 27 to Bishop Brossart. And then on Saturday, the Breds will be involved in the 9th versus 10th shootout. They'll be played at Bracken County, and the Thoroughbreds will play against Boone County. So the Breds and the Rebels at Bracken County next Saturday, and that game will start at 6 o'clock. So make a point of noticing that. The wrestling team today is hosting the Harrison County Invitational Wrestling Tournament over at the middle school. They'll be off until next Saturday as well, when they'll participate in the Franklin County Duels. So a full set of action next weekend, both here on the Hilltop, and points all around for our basketball teams and our wrestling team as well. Well, we'll take one more break and then come back for the tip-off of tonight's game between Harrison County and Lloyd Memorial. You're listening to Philly Basketball on WCYN Sports.
Sometimes it's good to know that you don't have to drive all over the state to find the building materials you need to repair your home. Tuba floors and nails, paint, brushes, and caulk. You know we have the best selection.
Alrighty, back here at the Hilltop, the starting quintet for Lloyd Memorial has been introduced. Right now, the starting 5 for Harrison County having their names recognized as well. Now, it's a very small congregation in the stable for tonight's game. In fact, most of them, I think, are from Holmes High School's girls team, who played just prior to this game, losing to 72-11 to the Paris Lady Hounds. But the starting 5s are as we said that they would be, so we're just about to get this contest underway. The 0-1 Fillies against the 0-2 Lloyd Memorial Juggernauts. Jumping center for the Juggernauts will be Brooklyn O'Clerc, their 5'8 junior forward. Harrison County losing 43-20 to St. Henry the other night. Lloyd Memorial, meanwhile, in their 2 games have combined for 36 points offensively, but defensively, on average, giving up 66 points. So hopefully we can get some offense generated in today's game. With O'Clerc on one side of the midcourt stripe, Caroline Van Hook will be on the other, as the ball is up and the tap controlled by Harrison County's Marley Toll. She'll get the ball into the hands of Custard. Now to Hudgens in the front court. Bailey goes baseline, cut off down there though. She'll bring it back to the elbow. Spins, goes to the basket, but it's going to be called for the travel as she took an extra step. So give the ball to Lloyd Memorial. Inbounds pass will come to Runyon. Runyon across the timeline, gets it in between the circles to Young. Young drifts to the left side inside the arc, gets the ball back to Runyon. Runyon inside the arc on the baseline to Young once again. Young back to Runyon. All this happening on the left side of the basket as we view it. With the basketball now is Ham, goes to the basket and lays it in. So Malia Ham with the first points of the game. On a runner. Less than a minute into this ball game. In the front court, Hudgens with the basketball, lobs to Van Hook at the foul line. Van Hook down on the block, tries to find Toll, ball knocked away by Young, and the ball is still being wrestled for. Finally, they do call a jump ball. The possession arrow faces Lloyd. So get Harrison County 2 turnovers on their first 2 possessions. With the basketball up the floor comes Runyon. Across the timeline on the far side of the circle, goes to the baseline, dumps it on the elbow to O'Clerc. Now back up top to Young. Young looking for help as she almost dribbled into a double team. Passes it over to the far side, intended for Runyon, but it's knocked out of bounds by Harrison County's Toll. From the far hash mark, inbounding the ball will be Runyon. Runyon looking, lobs it near the timeline to Ham. Ham down on the block to O'Clerc, who puts it up and in. Brooklyn O'Clerc's first points of the night. Puts her team up 4-0 on that runner. 6.5 left to go in the first quarter. Across the timeline, Hudgens to the far side to Custard, long range. Keeley moves into the paint, to the block, to the glass, and good. Nice drive that time by Keeley Custard as Harrison County is on the board. 6:20 left to go in the first quarter. In the front court on the left side, Young. She'll get the ball in the corner to Ham. Ham drops the ball. Loose ball picked up by Hudgens as Bailey comes up the floor. She's going to be fouled from behind by Runyon, who was going for the steal. It may be difficult to understand everything your teenager is saying, but with Dustin and Amy at Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, at least it's easy to get great insurance. Call them at 859-234-4514. Custer to the top of the key to Toll. Marley now in between the circles, throws the ball away. And, trying to tightrope the far sideline was Runyon. She's unable to, so one turnover begets another. Give the ball back to the Fillies. From the midcourt stripe, inbounding the ball will be Hudgens. Hudgens looking, now lobs it to Toll on the wing. Toll back to Hudgens, goes to the basket on the dribble drive. Nobody cuts her off, but then she misses the layup. Rebound brought down by McCoyne, and as McCoyne comes up the floor, she's going to be fouled by Hudgens. That'll be Bailey's first. 4-2, Lloyd Memorial leads. We played just over a couple of minutes. Runyon with the basketball, gets across the timeline on the far side. Now to McCoyne. McCoyne races to the block, tries a baseline pass, but it's over the head of O'Clerc, out of bounds for the turnover. So each team now with 3 miscues in the game so far. Hudgens will walk the ball up the floor and into the front court. Crosses the timeline on the near side of the circle. Now lobs to the top of the key to Van Hook. Caroline trying to get away from Young, goes baseline. Gets the ball to Toll, who puts it up and misses it. Rebound brought down by McCoyne. And now we'll have a tie-up. And the alternating possession arrow will keep the ball in the Juggernaut's hand. Nope, it's Harrison County's ball, excuse me. So from her own baseline, Hudgens to trigger the inbounds pass. Her team down by 2. Lobs it up top to Van Hook. Van Hook fires a 3 for the lead. Short. Rebound brought down by Kirsten Young. In the front court, the Juggernauts Young to the basket. Her shot's no good, but a foul's going to be called on Van Hook. That'll be Caroline's first. And we'll send Young to the line for a couple of free throws. Like a good neighbor, Joe Cochran with State Farm is there. Get a new home or auto quote with Joe by calling 859-234-3813. Joe always supports the Breads and Fillies. First free throw by Young is good. Gets her name into the scorebook and increases her team's lead to 5-2. 6:08 left here in the first quarter. Second free throw is no good, and Van Hook comes away with the rebound. Van Hook in the front court on the right side. Makes a move to the foul line. Now backs it back out again. Surveys the defense. Drifts to the right side inside the arc. Bodies hit the floor. Van Hook from the block puts it up and in. Nice drive that time by Caroline to get her team back to within one at 5-4. 4:44 left. Here's a long three. No good by Young. Custard comes down with the rebound for the Fillies. Custard goes coast to coast. Her shot off the glass is good. Nice job that time by the freshman, who has 4 points, and Harrison County has taken the lead at 6-5. 4:24 left. Now a steal by Brooke Kinney. Kinney to the basket, puts it up and in. First points of the game for Brooke. Harrison County's lead extends out to 3 at 8-5. And now a timeout's called. We'll take it as well. 4:17 left to go in the first quarter. Your score, Harrison County 8 and Lloyd Memorial 5. You're listening to Philly Basketball on WCYN Sports. All righty, back here at the Hilltop. Harrison County has reeled off 6 unanswered points to take an 8-5 lead out of the timeout. The Juggernauts with the basketball. Runyon gets the ball to Young. Now to the left side, long range. She'll find Ham. Ham drives to the block. Lost control of the basketball, and the loose ball picked up by Toll. 6 turnovers now for Lloyd Memorial. In the front court, Custard fans it to the Kinney at the top of the key. To Hudgens for a 3. No good off to the right. Rebound being battled for and coming away with it on a nice offensive rebound. And McCoyne has the rebound. In the front court come the Juggernauts. Runyon to the left side to Young. Open for a 3-point try. No good too long. Offside rebound is going to be pulled in by Van Hook. In the front court come the Fillies, leading 8-5. Custard in between the circles, backs up. Now pitches the ball to the far side to Van Hook long range. She'll try a pass, knocked away. Van Hook, though, able to try to get it to Hudgens, but the ball is picked up by the Juggernauts. On the other side of the basket, or of the floor, Malia Ham will lay it in, getting her team back to within one at 8-7. 3 minutes left here in the first quarter. Hudgens up top with the basketball, goes into the paint, kicks it, and now throws the ball away right into the waiting hands of Ham. Ham to Young, lays it up, misses it. Rebound knocked around and out of bounds. I'm going to say it was last touched by Harrison County, so Lloyd Memorial will maintain possession. A couple of subs coming in for Harrison County. Hayden Lunsford, a 5'5 sophomore who failed to score the other night. Also, Katie Linville checking in. She's a 5'8 sophomore who also has yet to score her first points of the season. Ham to inbounds the ball. Gets it to Malia Linson, who's in the game. Malia Linson, a 5'7 sophomore, who puts it up and in. So the lead goes back into the hands of Lloyd Memorial. Malia Linson. 2:32 left in the first quarter. Now Custard has her pocket picked. Going all the way the other way will be Ham, who lays it up and in. A half of a dozen points for Malia Ham. That time off the steal and layup to put her team up by 3, 11-8. And now the Juggernauts have scored 6 unanswered points of their own. Fouls on Ham on the other end of the floor. Just a common foul. Well, you know about the Beast Pizza, but don't forget about Snappy's great salads and sandwiches. Just dial 235-7627 right now. That's 235.
Snap.
Thank you, Ryan. Good to have you back. Pass underneath to Kenny, misses the shot, but she's going to be fouled. That foul is going to be called on Raylan Brown. Raylan Brown, a 5'9" sophomore who's in the ball game. Kenny was 1 for 2 from the line in the loss to St. Henry the other night. Has a couple of points in this game. First free throw to narrow the gap to 2 is good. As Young checks back into the game for Lloyd Memorial. 11-9, your score. Second free throw by the senior is on the way and no good this time. And coming down with the rebound will be Malia Linson. In the front court here is a steal by Hayden Lunsford. Lunsford gets the ball, then restolen by Young. Young goes to the block, misses the shot, rebound bounced around, and Custard comes away with it, and I think we're going to have a foul called on Lloyd. Going to call the foul on Linson. That'll be Malia Linson's first personal. Checking in the game now, Bailey Hudgens for Harrison County. She will come in for Custard. 11-9 your score. Lloyd Memorial with the lead. Also coming in for Lloyd Memorial will be Ham returning. Up the floor with the basketball and into the front court is Van Hook. Van Hook makes a move towards the block, a floater, good. Good shot that time by Caroline, ties the score at 11-11 on that runner. Minute and a half left, now a 3 fired up and good by McCoyne. Those are McCoyne's first points of the day. Makes it 14-11 in favor of the Juggernauts. With the basketball, Hudgens in the paint against the triple team, forces up a shot. It's knocked out of bounds by Lloyd, so kind of bailed out there. Harrison will maintain possession as Custard will check back in. Also coming in for Lloyd Memorial for the first time, Maya Holden. Holden, a 5'11 freshman. Got some size on this Lloyd Memorial school. Van Hook from her own baseline. To trigger the inbounds pass, her team down by 3. Gets it in the corner to Custard, fires a three-point try, short. Rebound brought down by Linville, nearly traveled. And now she'll get it to Custard. Her floater is no good. Rebound bounced around and out of bounds, and last touch they're going to say by Lloyd Memorial. So Harrison County will maintain possession. Just over a minute left to go in the first quarter. From her own baseline, Lunsford gets the ball to Linville. Ball fake, and now she's going to be tied up. Possession arrow will give the ball back to the Juggernauts. Harrison County 8 turnovers, 7 for Lloyd Memorial. Across the timeline with the basketball comes McCoyne. McCoyne lobs the ball to Young in front of the stable. She'll lob it in turn down underneath the basket. Shot put up no good. Rebound is going to be retrieved by McCoyne. With the basketball, Young from the foul line. Jump shot no good. Rebound picked up by Linville. Good rebounding that time by Katie. In the front court comes Hudgens. Hudgens all the way between the triple team. And she'll go down. And now they'll see who. Oh, they're going to call it a jump ball. Possession arrow faces the way of Harrison County. 34 seconds left in the first quarter, 14-11. Lloyd Memorial leads. Hudgens looking, lobs it. Picked up by Lunsford. Back on the baseline to Hudgens. Turnaround 15-footer off the front of the rim. No good. Rebound being chased after. And it's going to be a jump ball. And this time, Lloyd Memorial will take it over. Inbounds pass will come to McCoyne. McCoyne crosses the timeline on the far sideline. Makes a move to the top of the key. To the left elbow, to the block. Underhanded shot rolls off the flange. But there for the offensive putback is Raylan Brown. Raylan Brown puts her team up 16-11. 5 seconds left. Hudgens to Lunsford. 16-footer is no good. Rebound brought down by Van Hook. But that will bring us to the end of the first quarter of play. With your score, Lloyd Memorial 16, Harrison County 11. You're listening to Philly Basketball on WCYN Sports. The Juggernauts of Lloyd Memorial by a score of 16-11. Lloyd Memorial over the last 3 minutes of the first half outscored Harrison County 5-3. Which ain't that much, I guess. Hudgens inbounds the ball to Linville on the wing. Linville back to Hudgens, drops it near the far corner. She'll get it back to Linville, to the top of the key to Van Hook. Van Hook drifts to the left side, long range. Now makes her move to the top of the key in the paint. Gets it over to Custard in front of the Lloyd bench. Ball knocked away. Loose ball picked up by Hudgens. Hudgens then has the ball knocked away from her again. Retrieves the loose ball in the backcourt. Recrosses the line and almost lost the ball again. However, they're going to call a foul on Lloyd Memorial's Malia Ham, and that'll be 2 on Ham. That'll prompt a quick move by Coach Sturgeon as he gets Mackenzie Runyon back in the game and Ham to the bench. Down by 5, Hudgens will inbounds the ball. Just underway in the second quarter. Pass comes on the wing to Linville. Linville falls down, and it's going to be a travel. So give the ball back to the Juggernauts. They've been here for Farmers since 1916, and they're here for you now. Farm Credit Mid-America, that contact Mike Furnish at 859-254-2741 or visit efarmcredit.com. In the corner, Runyon gets the ball up top to Brown. Brown in turn gets the ball to McCoy. Her three-pointer is in and out, no good. Rebound knocked out of bounds. They're going to say by the Juggernauts. Brooke Kinney and Marley Toll return to the game now for the Fillies. Cynthiana Hardee's wants you to visit them for breakfast, lunch, or dinner on US 27 South. Made from scratch biscuits, never frozen burgers, and many other great options at Hardee's in Cynthiana. Across the timeline comes Hudgens. Gets it on the wing to Van Hook. Van Hook moves to the elbow, tries a pass, but it's going to be knocked out of bounds by Brown. 6:57 left in the first half. Harrison County trailing 16-11 as both teams are going through a little bit of a lull offensively. From her own baseline, Hudgens gets the ball to Van Hook. Van Hook goes baseline. Skip pass is going to be out of bounds as nobody touched it. So give the ball back now to Lloyd Memorial. 10 turnovers for Harrison County. So should be thanking their lucky stars that they're only down by 5. Across the timeline comes Runyon. Runyon lobs the ball over the head of her intended receiver, Maya Holden, for a turnover in Lloyd Memorial. They've turned the ball over 8 times. So combined the two, 18 turnovers. Hudgens will jog the ball into the front court as she's met by Runyon defensively. Pass to the right side to Custard, long range, and Custard is going to be fouled by McCoyne. That'll be McCoyne's first personal foul. Central Hardin and Bracken County, that's a boys game, will follow this one. And then the day will end up with Harrison County's Thoroughbreds taking on the Jaguars of East Jessamine. Inbounds pass will come to Van Hook. Van Hook in between the circles. Makes a move inside the arc in the paint. Drop pass down the block to Toll, who misses the layup. Rebound's going to be ripped out of there by Maya Holden. Up the floor come the Juggernauts. Young in front of the Harrison bench goes baseline. Her floater is way off the mark, but we're going to have a foul called on the Fillies. It's going to be on Toll. That'll be Marley's first. Checking about a two-shot foul coming up for Young. She's 1 for 2 from the line tonight for her only point. First free throw here is no good. O'Clerc checks back in for the Juggernauts. Also coming in for Lloyd Memorial will be Malia Linson, as Young will attempt a second free throw. It's on the way, and this one will be good, and that will extend the lead to its largest for the Juggernauts at 17-11. Just over 6 minutes left to go in the first half with the basketball. Custard gets it out top to Van Hook, past her, and she has to, the ball was tipped into the backcourt. Harrison County's Van Hook with the ball, dumps it to Toll, goes between her hands out of bounds. That pass just a little too hot to handle. Give the ball back to Lloyd Memorial. If you're fed up, call Canup. Canup Law promises to treat you with care, respect, and dignity in whatever legal situation you're in. Visit them at canuplaw.com. In the front court, O'Clerc gets it down into Runyon's hands. She's so wide open, she lets the ball slip through and out of bounds. So give the ball back to Harrison County, as both teams really sacrificing a lot of very good shots that end up being turnovers instead. Hudgens gives the ball to Custard. Custard in between the circles to Toll. Toll back to Hudgens. And now a timeout is going to be called by Coach Watson. 5:29 left to go in the first half. Harrison County trails by a score of 17-11. It's just a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. But Coach Watson visibly displeased with something going on with the Fillies out on the floor, maybe that we're behind 17-11. Right now, let's see, where do we lead? We led 8-7, so since we led 8-7, we've been outscored 10-3. So out of the timeout, the Fillies will have the basketball. But still, despite everything, still trailing by only 6 points. Kinney will inbounds the ball. She'll get it to Custard. Custard recrosses the timeline in the center circle. Now gets to the top of the key to Toll. Toll to the midcourt circle to Hudgens. Lobs the ball inside to Van Hook on a backdoor cut, who misses the shot. Holden comes down with the rebound. And up the floor come the Juggernauts. Young to the left side to Linson for three. Very short. Rebound kicked around and out of bounds. Last touched by the Juggernauts. So Harrison County will get the ball back, as both teams really having trouble finding that basket in the first 3 minutes of the second quarter. In fact, there has been only one free throw made by both teams combined. Across the timeline comes Hudgens. She'll get it on the wing to Custard. Custard looking, now takes it down on the baseline, puts up a hook shot. Good! Nice job that time by Keeley, as she will get her Fillies back within 4 at 17-13. 4:41 left. Here's a shot put up, no good. Van Hook gets the rebound for Harrison County. Over on the left side, Van Hook's 15-footer is off the flange. Ball knocked around, out of bounds. Last touched by Harrison County. Sierra McCoyne will return to the floor now for Lloyd Memorial, as will Katie Linville for Harrison County. Linville coming in for Toll. I'd say by the time all is said and done, those two girls, Toll and Linville, will be interchangeable parts. With the basketball across timeline comes Runyon, her team leading 17-13. Runyon in the paint, a floater from 10 is good. First points of the game for Mackenzie Runyon on that runner. Gets her team back up by 6 at 19-13 as we approach the midway point of the second quarter. Hudgens has the ball back tapped away from behind. Loose ball picked up by Runyon. Gets it to the foul line to Linson, whose jump shot is good. 4 points now for Malia Linson on the layup after the steal. And the Juggernauts have their biggest lead at 21-13. Now going for the steal, Runyon is going to be whistled for a foul. That'll be her second. Coming in the game for Lloyd Memorial, Mercedes Frazier. Frazier, a 5'5" sophomore. Also coming in for the Fillies, Edison Rowe. Rowe, a 5'7" sophomore who got to play but did not score the other night against St. Henry. Custard at the line for the first time tonight. She was 2 for 2 against St. Henry. First free throw is perfect. 7 points now for Keeley as she sneaks her team back to within 7 at 21-14. Second free throw is also good. Nothing but net. Has 8 points, just one shy of the amount of points she had in the loss up to Lady Crusaders. Into the front court with the basketball comes McCoy. Pass inside, but in between a triple team, Holden's going to be fouled. They're going to give the foul to Van Hook, and that'll be Caroline's second. From her own baseline to trigger the inbounds pass will be Linson. Linson lobs it into the corner to McCoy. McCoy at the foul line to the top of the key, gets the ball to O'Clerc. O'Clerc to the left side to McCoy once again. McCoy on a backdoor cut to Linson, misses the shot. Rebound brought down by Holden. Her putback is no good. And now coming down with the rebound will be Caroline Van Hook. In the front court, a pass intended for Rowe goes over Edison's head and out of bounds for another turnover. 3:21 left to go in the first half. 21-15. Across the timeline comes McCoy. McCoy met by Custer defensively. Pass the ball to the near side to Frazier. Frazier then throws the ball away. Steal by Brooke Kinney. Van Hook in the front court at the top of the key. Makes her move into the paint, stops. And now, I'm not even sure what that was. It was ugly, whatever it was. We'll call it a turnover. With the basketball in the front court, McCoy gets it on the near side to Frazier. Frazier goes baseline, cut off by Rowe. She'll now lob it to the top of the key to O'Clerc. Here's a three fired up and good this time by Malia Linson. She now has 7 and puts her team up by their largest margin at 10 at 24-14 as Kirsten Young was injured on the play. Didn't see exactly what happened there, but she appears to be in quite a bit of pain. Coach Sturgeon going out to check on her. 24-15 is your score with the Lloyd Memorial Juggernauts in front. Well, whatever questions the coach is asking Young, she's answering in the negative, but I don't know what that means. Did not see what happened. I was watching the fly of the ball and say that Young got hurt when she was trying to get position for the rebound. Actually, that's Mercedes Frazier, number 4. So Frazier, the sophomore, injured on the play. Might have gotten the wind knocked out of her the way she's taking some deep breaths underneath the basket, just trying to catch her breath. Frazier, a sophomore. Now some more medical aid going out there to check on her. Oh, and that they had one of those, what do you call those things that, you know what I'm talking about, Ryan, you know, that the breathing things? Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
So that'll help her get her breath back. But she is still laboring to breathe. Now I think she's okay now. But still haven't really, I mean, she's really breathing hard. So I'm not real sure what the situation is, if it's something she's had before or something that's just cropped up. But she is really having a hard time. Tell you what we're going to do. We'll take a break and then come back. 24-15 your score. Lloyd Memorial leads Harrison. You're listening to Philly Basketball on WC Wayne Sports. as we get back to action, Mercedes Frazier has been carried off of the floor, so that's not a good sign at all. Right now they're working on her on the gurney or whatever you want to call it in the end zone. So Coach Sturgeon trying to explain to his team what might be going on and to try to keep them calm as possible, which is hard when one of your teammates goes down and it's not looking very good. So we'll monitor the situation as it continues to develop, and hopefully we'll be able to see Frazier back on the floor before this game is over. In any case, the last thing that happened was the three-pointer by Malia Linson, which makes the score 24-15. Harrison County down by their largest margin. They'll have the basketball with 2.5 left in the first half. Custard across the timeline on the far sideline. Makes a move to the top of the key, to the elbow, to the block. Her shot off the glass. Good, and she's fouled. And Keeley will have a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play as she narrows the gap to 24-17. Kirsten Young commits the foul. That'll be her first. Custard, 2 for 2 from the line tonight. Free throw up, free throw bounces in there good. 11 points for her now, as she is almost single-handedly keeping her team in the ball game. In the front court with the basketball come the Juggernauts. O'Clerc tries a pass, stolen by Rowe. Up the floor with the basketball comes Van Hook. Her team down by a half a dozen. A couple of minutes left to go in the first half. On the left side, Kinney has it. She'll get it up top to Custard. Fakes the three, moves to the foul line. Now gets it back on the wing to Kinney, who fires a three-pointer. Off the mark, no good. Rebound on the floor. And finally, we're going to have a jump ball. Possession arrow will keep the ball in Harrison County's hands. Trailing 24-18. Rowe will inbounds the ball from just the other side of her basket. Nope, they're actually going to say that it's alternating possession arrow is Lloyd's ball. So Lloyd Memorial with the basketball, leading by 6. Across the timeline comes McCoy, goes to the basket as nobody cuts her off, misses the shot. Rebound is dug out of there by Kirsten Young. Young goes inside the arc to the block, to the glass. Her shot short, and this time Van Hook comes away with the rebound. She has 6 on the night. In the front court, Van Hook gets the ball to Custard. Custard goes baseline, forces up a 10-footer, no good. And on the rebound, we're going to have a foul on Lloyd Memorial. It's going to be on Linson. That'll be Malia Linson's second. And that will send Kinney to the line, where she is 1 for 2 tonight. Has 3 points altogether. With 1:23 left to go in the first half, the first free throw by Kinney is on the way and bounces off. She'll have another. Also coming back in, Mackenzie Runyon. She's had to sit quite some time on the bench in foul trouble herself. Second free throw for Kinney coming up. It's on the way and good. 4 points for her now. And Harrison County down by just 5 at 24-19 after trailing by as many as 9. 1:23 left. Free throw on the way and bounces out. And on the rebound, I think we're going to have a foul called on Harrison County.
Harrison fouls on 22.
Yeah, it's going to be on Van Hook, and that'll be Caroline's third. She's going to have to watch it now for the final minute of this first half. With the basketball is Runyon. Gets it in the far corner to Holden, nearly traveled. Picks up her dribble. Now we'll get the ball back to Runyon. Runyon down low to Holden, who puts it up and in. First points of the game for Maya Holden. And Harrison County now trails 26-19 with under a minute to go in the first half. Custard with it. She's had a nice first half herself. Floater in the lane from 10, rolls off, no good. And McCoy comes away with the rebound for the Lady Juggernauts. In the front court, Runyon in the corner. Gets a pass to Young. Young in the corner. Here's a 3 try by O'Clerc, no good. Rebound is gobbled up by Young. And she goes back to the basket. We're going to have a foul on Harrison County. Hayden Lunsford will check back in. Actually, it was a turnover on Lloyd as Young fell to the floor. Harrison County down by 7, 26-19, 27 seconds left in the first half. On the right side row, up top to Linville. Katie makes a move to the left elbow, now gets to Kinney long range. Brooke over on the right side to Rowe. Rowe tries a pass underneath the basket. Linville shot no good. Rebound picked up by Linville. And now shot no good by Kinney as the buzzer sounds. Excuse me. So at the end of one half of play, your score, Harrison County trailing Lloyd Memorial 26-19. We invite you to join us now for our halftime show brought to you by Joe Cochran out at State Farm. We'll go over all the scoring and stats from this first half. But once again, your halftime score here at the Riverview Meat Company Tip-Off Classic. Lloyd Memorial 26, Harrison County 19. You're listening to Philly Basketball on WCYN Sports. Alrighty, back here at the Hilltop, continuing action of the Riverview Meat Company Tip-Off Classic. Right now, the Harrison County Fillies trail at halftime to Lloyd Memorial, 26-19. The two teams had a tie and a couple of lead changes early, but then a 6-0 run by Lloyd Memorial turned what was a 3-point deficit to a 3-point lead. That lead would eventually grow to as many as 10 before Harrison County was able to shave a little bit off of it and get it down to where we are right now at 7. Taking a look at the individual scoring, first for Lloyd Memorial, They were paced by Malia Linson, 7 points off the bench, including a tray. 6 points for Malia Ham. 3 points for Sierra McCoy on a tray in the first quarter. And then 2 points each for Brooklyn O'Clerc, Mackenzie Runyon, Kirsten Young, Raylan Brown, and Maya Holden. Also getting into the game but not scoring was Mercedes Frazier. For Harrison County, Keeley Custard leading the way with 11 first half points. 4 points each for Brooke Kinney and Caroline Van Hook wrap up the scoring for the Fillies here in the first half. Also playing but not scoring, Bailey Hudgens, Marley Toll, Addison Rowe, Hayden Lunsford, and Katie Linville. That's the way the individual numbers look. We'll take a break, come back, and look at the team stats right after this timeout. But once again, your halftime score, Lloyd Memorial 26, Harrison County 19. You're listening to Philly Basketball on WCYN Sports. All right, let's take a look now at the team stats in the first half. Harrison County made just 7 of 25 shots, that's 28%, and were 0 for 5 from three-point range. Meanwhile, Lloyd Memorial attempted 26 shots, made 11, that's 42.3%. They were 2 of 7 from beyond the arc. From the free throw stripe, the Fillies were 5 out of 7 for 71.4%, while the Juggernauts made just 2 out of 4 for 50%. Turnovers, well, as it ends up, they were pretty much even. Harrison County committed 14 turnovers in that first half to Lloyd Memorial's 12, but Lloyd Memorial wins the battle of the boards, out-rebounding Harrison County 14-12. 4 offensive and 8 defensive rebounds were picked up by Harrison County. They were paced in the first half by Caroline Van Hook, 6. Meanwhile, Lloyd Memorial had 5 offensive and 9 defensive rebounds for their 14. Leading the way was Sierra McCoy, who has 5 rebounds here at the break. So there are your numbers, both individually and team-wise, here on the Joe Cochran out at State Farm halftime report. Once again in this tournament, the game coming up after the Phillies game will pit the Bracken County Polar Bears against the Central Hardin Bruins. That ought to be a good game. That's a boys' game. They'll start at around 5:15. And then the day will finish up at 7 o'clock when the Harrison County Thoroughbreds faced East Jessamine. Once again, that game will start at 7. Well, we'll take a break right now and come back for the third quarter handoff after this timeout. But once again, your halftime score, Lloyd Memorial 26, Harrison County 19. You're listening to Philly Basketball on WCYN Sports. right, we're about to begin the second half of play in this contest between the Fillies and the Lloyd Memorial. Lloyd Memorial leading 26-19, so the Fillies have some work to do. But as I said once before, Fillies will be off until next Friday when they'll host Scott here on the Hilltop. That's on Friday, and then on Saturday they'll face Ludlow, also here on the Hill. 3 o'clock JV, 4:30 varsity game. Lloyd Memorial will have the ball to start out things here in the second half. Runyon takes it across the timeline, pass on the wing to McCoy, up top to Young, lost the ball, goes and picks it back up again, and on a weave gives the ball to Runyon. Runyon to O'Clerc. O'Clerc passes the ball right to Hudgens for the steal. Bailey in the front court. Now we'll circle back around. She waits on the rest of her team to start the offense and hands the ball to Custard. Keeley pass to the right side to Toll, up top to Van Hook, long range. Van Hook takes the dribble to the left, gets the ball to Hudgens in front of the Harrison bench. Hudgens fakes a pass, now moves into the paint, looking for help, gets Kinney at the top of the key, over on the right side to Custer, down on the block to Toll, ball knocked away, and the loose ball picked up by Lloyd Memorial. Outlet pass to Runyon, who was a snowbird the other way, and she lays it up and in. For Mackenzie Runyon, that's 4 points now. And puts her team up 28-19 as we hit the 7-minute mark of the third quarter. Here's a three by Van Hook, no good. Rebound is going to be pulled in by O'Clerc. Up the floor into the front court come the Juggernauts. Young tries a pass, knocked away, but the loose ball picked up by Lloyd Memorial. McCoy goes to the basket, her shot is no good, and Van Hook comes away with the rebound. Caroline in the front court goes into the paint, tries a shot, no good, but she's fouled and will go to the line for two. Foul is going to be on McCoy, and that'll be Sierra McCoy's second. This will be Van Hook's first free throws of the night over at St. Henry the other night. She went 1 for 2. She has 4 points, had 6 in the loss to the Lady Crusaders. 6:29 mark of the third. The first free throw by number 22 is going to rattle out. She will have another, however, to try to get this deficit down to 8. Second free throw's on the way, and this one will be good. Van Hook gets her team back to within 8 at 28-20. 6:25 on the clock. Here in the third. Now a pass down low is going to be picked off by Van Hook. Van Hook in the front court, dishes the ball to Custard. Custard, a hook shot, good! Nice shot that time by Keeley, who has 13 points. Harrison County sneaking back in this thing, trailing 28-22. Now we'll have a whistle and a turnover by Lloyd Memorial. They've turned the ball over already 3 times here in the third quarter. Harrison down by half a dozen, facing some full court pressure. Van Hook to Custard, Custard to Kinney. Kinney lobs the ball down low to Toll, who puts it up and bounces off. Rebound pulled down this time by Malia Ham. Got to make those easy ones. In the front court on the right side, Ham. Now we'll have a timeout called by Coach Sturgeon. Just a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. But with 5 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the third quarter, Harrison County, despite trailing 28-22, has some momentum rolling on their side. It may be difficult to understand everything your teenager is saying, but with Dustin and Amy at Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, at least it's easy to get great insurance. Call them at 859-234-4514. Bracken County and Central Hardin will play next. Then Harrison County, the Thoroughbreds, will take on East Jessamine. Out of the timeout from our own baseline, McCoy will trigger the inbounds pass. She'll get the ball in the hands of Ham. Ham gives the ball back to McCoy. McCoy back to Ham, drops the ball. Loose ball on the floor, and we're going to have a tie-up between Young and Hudgens, possession arrow, will give the ball back to Harrison County. It's now 16 turnovers overall for Lloyd. Harrison, one fewer. Across the timeline comes Hudgens. Looks over to Coach Watson. See what play he wants to run. He'll give the ball to Toll. Toll down on the block to Van Hook. Her hook shot's no good. Kenny with the rebound, put back no good, but she's fouled. So Kenny will go to the line for two. Fouls on McCoy, and that'll be McCoy's third. Kenny from the line tonight, 2 out of 4. First free throw by 13 is on the way and good. 28-23. And now Runyon checks back in for Lloyd Memorial. 5:14 on the clock here in the third. The second free throw by Kenny is on the way, and this one will be good as well. Half a dozen points now for the senior. Harrison County, who trailed by as many as 9, now back to within 4, 28-24. Runyon gives the ball to Young. Young on the baseline is going to be fouled. Nope, they're going to call a travel before she ran into Toll. So they played 3 minutes and committed 5 turnovers here in the second half, have the Lady Crusaders. Full court man pressure being applied. Inbounds pass comes to Custard. Custard back to Hudgens, who drops the ball and lets it get away. Now a pass inside gets away. Loose ball picked up by Runyon. And I think in the confusion, we're going to have a foul call on Harrison County. It's going to be on Toll, and that'll be Marley's second. From her own baseline, to trigger the inbounds pass will be Ham. Ham looking, lobs it to Runyon. Back to Ham from the corner for a three. Off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound pulled in by Van Hook. She has 8 rebounds on the night. Van Hook with the basketball. A floater in the lane, bounces off. Rebound, though, by Toll. Put back, no good. And this time, it'll be Runyon with the basketball. In the front court come the Juggernauts. A pass intended down low is going to be knocked out of bounds by Harrison County. Linville checks back in now for Toll for Harrison County. From her own baseline to trigger the inbounds pass is going to be Ham. 28-24, Lloyd Memorial leads. 4.5 left to go in the third. I thought they had called a turnover, but then they never gave us the ball. Now they will give us the ball. Van Hook inbounds the ball to Hudgens. Some token pressure by Lloyd Memorial. Custard in the backcourt. Diagonal pass to Hudgens. Hudgens nearly travels, but gets the ball to Van Hook at the top of the key. Van Hook down the block to Linville. Her shot put up no good off the flange. And down with the rebound this time will be Ham. Here's a pass down low to Runyon, who puts it up and in. Mackenzie Runyon with the layup. Puts her team back up by 6, 30-24 as we hit the midway point of the third quarter. And now Van Hook is going to be fouled by Runyon, and that'll be 3 on Runyon. So Lloyd Memorial has both Runyon and McCoy with 3 fouls apiece. And still 3:57 left to go in the third. Coach Sturgeon will keep those girls in there for now as Hudgens brings the ball into the front court. Hudgens reverses back over to the right side. Now passes back to the left to Linville in the paint to Van Hook. Van Hook from the block, turnaround jumper a little too hard off the glass, no good. Rebound is pulled in by Lloyd Memorial. And now a pass down low is going to get away, and the loose ball picked up by Lloyd Memorial. Young, left side three-point try, good. Big tray that time by Kirsten Young, and that will put the Lady Juggernauts up 33-24 with 3:18 left to go in the third. That was a big dagger there. Oh, come on, girls. Here's a pass down low to no one in particular. Turnover gives the ball back to Lloyd Memorial. Timeout called by Harrison County. It's going to be just a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. 3 minutes and 11 seconds left to go in the third quarter, and Lloyd Memorial leads 33-24. Like a good neighbor, Joe Cochran with State Farm is there. Get a new home or auto quote with Joe by calling 859-234-3813. Joe always supports the Breds and the Looks like some of the Central Hardin and Bracken County folks are rolling in. Their game is scheduled to start at 5:15, so that's still a little ways away. Out of the timeout, Lloyd Memorial facing full court pressure, trying to inbounds the ball. O'Clerc. She'll get the ball to Young. Young chased down the far sideline by Custard. Now falls, loose ball, and you can't stand up with a ball like that. Jump ball is called. Possession arrow will keep the ball in the hands of the Juggernauts. From the far hash mark, inbounding the ball will be Ham. Ham gets the ball inbounds to Brown. Brown gets it down low to Ham. Ham gets the ball to Holden, and she is going to be fouled. The foul is going to be on Katie Linville. That'll be Katie's first. From her own baseline, Holden gets the ball inbounds to Ham. Ham races to the basket, falls down, and throws the ball out of bounds as she was looking for contact that never came. That's 19 turnovers overall for Lloyd Memorial now, but they still lead 33-24. Harrison County has committed 17. Across the timeline with the basketball comes Van Hook. Phillies need a bucket really bad here. Custard with the basketball now. Had 11 first half points, but only 2 here in the third. A runner is good. Well, shut my mouth. Custard now with 15. Harrison County gets back to within 7 at 33-26. 2:28 left to go in the third. Now a pass is knocked out of bounds by Van Hook, intended for O'Clerc. Lloyd Memorial will inbounds the ball from the far hash mark. Doing the honors will be Raylan Brown. Brown gets the ball to Young. Young, her team up. I think it says 33-25. I thought it was 33-26. Young now drops the ball. And on the scramble for the loose ball, I think we're going to have a foul called on Lloyd Memorial. And it will be on Malia Ham. That'll be her third. Back in the game, Sierra McCoyne will now return. So Hudgens with the basketball, her team down by 7. She'll give the ball to Van Hook on the near side of the midcourt circle. Van Hook drifts to the left side, now backs up. Passes the ball to Custard in front of her own bench. Keeley, a bounce pass to Linville. Linville, hook shot, no good. Rebound pulled down this time by Brown. Harrison County's going through a stretch now like we had in the first half, but we just can't find the basket. Brooke Kinney commits a foul out on the floor. Lunsford will check back in now for Harrison, replacing Custard. Inbounds pass will come to McCoyne. McCoyne across the timeline, now moves to the right wing, gets the ball in the hands of Brown. Brown underneath the basket to Holden, ball knocked away. Loose ball picked up by Lunsford. Harrison needs a bucket. And now we have the ball back tapped away from behind and stolen. And now a whistle and a jump ball is called. And that'll give the ball back to Harrison County. Both coaches, I'm sure, are wanting to tear their hair out because of all these needless turnovers. From her own baseline, Hudgens to trigger the inbounds pass. Her team trails by 7. Pass to Van Hook. Her shot's no good, but she's fouled. And she'll go to the line for 2. That foul will be on Brown. That'll be Brown's second. Van Hook to the line where she's 1 for 2. Has 5 points, but she's also grabbed some 8 rebounds. At the 1:27 mark of the third, her first free throw's good. 33-27. Second free throw for the seniors, also good. Coming into the game for the first time for Harrison County, Savannah Kennedy. Kennedy, a 5'9" 8th grader, did not score against St. Henry the other night. 33-28, 34. No, 33 should be 28. Now we're going to have Van Hook and Custard return to the ball game. Turnover by Lloyd Memorial gives the ball back to Harrison County. They had 12 in the first half and 11 here in the third quarter, but still lead 33-28. That says 34-28. With the basketball, Hudgens on the left side to Custard. Custard down low to Van Hook. Van Hook in the paint between the double team, forces up, a shot no good. Rebound battled for, and finally coming away with it is going to be Brown. In the front court come the Juggernauts, and now a travel called on Lloyd Memorial. We'll give the ball back. So it's basically Harrison County missing a boatload of shots. Lloyd Memorial, they give it right on back to us. That's the way the third quarter's gone, folks. 33-28 your score. Harrison County down by 5 with under a minute to go in the third. Hudgens from the left elbow. Gets it nearly knocked away from behind, but a foul is going to be called on Young, and that'll be Kirsten Young's second. With the next foul, Harrison County will be in the bonus. From her own baseline, Hudgens to trigger the inbounds pass. Hudgens looking, lobs it to Kinney, open for three. No good, too long, but the rebound is chased down by Van Hook. Van Hook to Custard up top for three. No good off the flange. Rebound fought for, and once again, Van Hook comes up with it. And we're going to have a foul called on Lloyd Memorial. Good fighting in there by Van Hook. Foul is going to be called on O'Clerk, and that'll be her first. Kennedy checks back in for Harrison. Runyon and Ham back in the game for Lloyd Memorial. Van Hook at the line. She's 3 for 4 tonight. 39 seconds left to go in the third. The first free throw is perfect. Gives her 8 points altogether on the night. And narrows the gap to 4 at 33-29. Second free throw for number 22 upcoming is up, and it is in. Harrison County hanging tough. Now down by only a 3-point margin at 33-30 after trailing by as many as 10 earlier in the half. Inbounds pass comes to Runyon. Runyon across the timeline. Gets the ball at the far hash mark into the hands of Ham. Ham traveled, no call. Gets the ball to Holden, who puts it up and in. 4 points now for Maya Holden on the layup to make the score 35-33 with just 18 seconds left to go in the third. Hudgens with the basketball on the right side, moves into the paint, spins, puts up a fall-away shot, no good. Rebound knocked out of bounds by Harrison County. So 7.5 seconds left for the Juggernauts to get the ball the length of the floor. Toll back in now for the Fillies. Inbounding the ball will be Brown. Gets it to Runyon. Runyon to Ham. Ham in the corner to McCoyne. Her three-pointer at the buzzer is no good. So at the end of 3 quarters of play, your score, Lloyd Memorial 35, Harrison County 30. You're listening to Philly Basketball on WCYN Sports. Alrighty, as we begin the fourth quarter, Harrison County down 35-30. They shaved a couple of points off that deficit in the third quarter. Well, you know about the Beast Pizza, but don't forget about Snappy's great salads and sandwiches. Just dial 235-7627 right now. That's 235.
Snap. Awesome.
Yeah, you don't need to go to school. You've got a career saying snap.
Oh, yeah.
Juggernauts will have the ball to begin the fourth quarter. They've led since basically midway through the first quarter, but Harrison County keeps hanging tough. With the basketball in the front court, Ham falls down but does get the ball to McCoyne. McCoyne fumbling the ball around herself but able to control it, gets the ball to Runyon. And now we're going to have a foul on Katie Linville. That'll be Katie's second. That away from the basketball. Didn't see it. Well, they've been here for Farmers since 1916, and they're here for you now. Farm Credit Mid-America. Contact Mike Furnish at 859-254-2741 or visit efarmcredit.com. Here's a shot put up no good by Lloyd. Ball knocked out of bounds by Harrison County, they're going to say, though. Inbounds pass to McCoyne in the corner. Up top to Runyon. Runyon dribbles over to the left side, gives the ball to Holden. Holden in the paint, nearly traveled. She'll get the ball in the corner. Here's a three fired up by Ham, no good. And on the rebound, over the back is going to be called on the Lady Juggernauts. That was on Runyon. That'll be her fourth. So the first Lloyd Memorial player with 4 personal fouls. Malia Linson checks back in for the Juggernauts. Van Hook back in for Harrison County as Brooke Kinney will go back to the line. She is 4 for 6 from the line tonight. One and the bonus coming up for the senior. First free throw, a half minute into the fourth, is going to bounce off, no good. Rebound hauled in this time by Brown. Up the floor with the basketball, McCoyne. Gets it on the wing, long range to Linson. Linson down low, ball knocked away, but the loose ball is going to be picked up by Ham. Ham goes to the basket and lays it in. 8 points for Malia Ham on that putback. Gets her team a 7-point lead again at 37-30. Just a minute into this fourth quarter. Custard to Kinney on the left side. Up top to Van Hook. Van Hook drives into the paint. Nearly lost it, but gets the ball to Hudgens in the corner. Bailey goes to the basket. Her layup is missed. And on the rebound, it will be Holden who comes away with the rebound. In the front court, Lloyd Memorial. Holden, long range right side, guarded by Linville. Now in between the circles, she'll get the ball to Linson. Here's a three fired up by McCoyne, no good. Keely Custard with the rebound for the Fillies. Up the floor, Custard from the block to the glass. Her shot's no good, but she's fouled and will go to the line for a couple of free throws. Foul is going to be assessed to Brown. That'll be Brown's third. So Custard to the line. She's 3 for 3 from there tonight. Has 15 points. 6:27 on the clock. Still lots of time. First free throw by the freshman is going to bounce out. She will have another. Harrison County now 0 for 2 from the charity stripe here in the fourth quarter. Second free throw for number 21 is very short. Didn't even graze the rim. So give the ball back to Lloyd. Full court pressure by the Fillies. Holden gets the ball to McCoyne. McCoyne up the far sideline. Gets it down low to Linson. Linson finds an open Raylan Brown who puts it up and in. So Raylan Brown with the layup. Puts the Juggernauts up by 9, 39-30. With 6:18 left in the fourth quarter. And now a timeout called by Harrison County. 6:12 left to go, your score. Harrison County trailing the Juggernauts by a score of 39-30, just a 30-second timeout. So keep it right here, as I'm sure Coach Watson emphasizing we can't give up any more free shots. Down by 9 with just over 6 minutes left to go. Cynthiana Hardee's wants you to visit them for breakfast, lunch, or dinner on US 27 South. Made from scratch biscuits, never frozen burgers, and many other great options at Hardee's in Cynthiana. At the conclusion of our game, we'll have our post-game show. Talk about the scoring and stats, have a chat with Coach Watson or Coach Kinney, one or the other. And also name our Judy Construction Company player of the game. Hopefully the Fillies can make a comeback here, trailing by 9. Van Hook inbounds the ball to Custard. Harrison County has trailed most of the way. We had a tie and a couple of lead changes early, but for the most part, Lloyd Memorial has been able to keep Harrison County at arm's length. With the basketball, Custard on the right side in the corner to Van Hook. Up top to Custard, to the left side to Hudgens. Gets a ball down low to Van Hook. Van Hook from the block, kicks it back on the wing to Kinney. Back up top to Hudgens, who will fire a three-pointer off the flange, no good. Rebound pulled down by McCoy. Into the front court come the Juggernauts. Left side, Ham moves to the basket, dumps it down to Holden, who makes the shot and is fouled, and will have a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play. Holden was all alone down low, and once we got somebody down there to take care of her, it was too late. Young back in now. Holden, first trip to the line tonight. Free throws up and no good, and the long rebound is going to be chased down by Ham. To get the ball to Young, to Holden in the paint. Holden splits the defense, makes the shot, and is fouled again. So she was unable to convert the old-fashioned three opportunity the last time. Now she'll try to do it all over again, but now her team leading 43-30. Free throw up and good this time. She has 9 points off the bench, and the Juggernauts have their biggest lead of the night at 44-30. In the front court with the basketball is Custard, and now she is going to be bumped hard. Foul is going to be called on Ham, and that'll be Malia Ham's fourth. Double bonus for Harrison County's Custard, who is 3 for 5 on the night. Made her first three, but has missed her last two. Has 15 points. At the 5:17 mark, her first free throw is good. Gives her 16. O'Clerc back in for Lloyd Memorial. Kennedy back in for Harrison County. With that free throw, Keeley gets Harrison back to within 13. Second free throw is also good by the freshman. Gives her 17 as Hudgens will check back into the lineup. There. Up the floor, her team up by a dozen comes McCoy. Lloyd Memorial in no big hurry right now. Pass on the right side, long range to Linson. Linson down to Holden, puts it off the block and good, and she's fouled. And for a third consecutive time down the floor, Holden a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play. Puts her team up 46-32. And her free throw is no good. Chasing down the long rebound is Van Hook. Up the floor come the Fillies, needing a bucket. Hudgens with 4:57 on the clock. Her team down by 14, goes to the block, and in between a double team is going to be tied up. Possession arrow keeps the ball in the hands of the Fillies. From her own baseline, Hudgens will trigger the inbounds pass. Hudgens lobs it to Van Hook, who falls down. Loose ball picked up and heading the other way, but missing the layup is Linson. But there for the putback is McCoy. And she will be going to the line for a couple of free throws. Kind of a Murphy's Law kind of deal. And now we've got an injured Lady Juggernaut as Kirsten Young is doubled over underneath the basket in front of Harrison County's bench. And I don't know if she got popped in the mouth or the nose, but she's going off under her own power, but in obvious distress. So they'll take care of her. I think she got popped in the mouth. 4:46 left, 46-32, Harrison County trails. If you're fed up, call Canup. Canup Law promises to treat you with care, respect, and dignity in whatever legal situation you're in. Visit them at canuplaw.com. Harrison County trying to avoid losing its second game in as many tries to start out this season. Meanwhile, Lloyd Memorial trying to bounce back from an 0-2 start. And right now, the Juggernauts have the upper hand, leading 46-32. This represents the largest lead of the ball game so far for the Juggernauts, after Harrison County was able to keep it close for over 3 quarters. McCoy at the line for the first time tonight. First free throw by the junior is up and no good. Leading returning scorer from last year's team, but tonight was just 3 points. Second one is on the way, and this one will rattle in there for her 4th point and put her team up 47-32. 4:40 left. With the basketball in the front court, Van Hook. Van Hook at the foul line, stops, gets it down on the block to Kennedy, who may have taken an extra hip-hop step, which she did. Makes an even 20 turnovers for Harrison County on the night. Lloyd Memorial, they've committed 24. But the Juggernauts lead by 15. Cross timeline comes McCoy. McCoy lobs the ball on the far wing to Linson. Linson now tries a pass, but it's knocked away, and on the loose ball, or the scramble for the loose ball, a foul is going to be called on Harrison County's Kinney. And that'll be Brooks' second. 19 foul. So 1 in the bonus upcoming for Malia Linson. This will be her first trip to the line tonight. First one's on the way and good. So Linson makes it 48-32. 4:16 on the clock. Second free throw is also good by Linson. Harrison County now down 49-32. Cross timeline comes Hudgens. Hudgens drifts to the left side, gets the ball to Van Hook, down on the block to Kennedy. Kennedy forces up a shot, no good, and down with the rebound will be Holden. Into the front court come the Juggernauts. Here's a pass that's knocked away. Loose ball, though, picked up by McCoy. Over on the left side, O'Clerc. She'll get it into the corner to Linson. Linson on the wing to McCoy. McCoy flies to the basket. Her runner is good. 6 points now for Sierra McCoy. And a 19-point lead now for the Juggernauts. 3:36 left. Hudgens with the basketball, gets it to Kennedy for a 10-footer off the flange. No good. And the rebound picked up by McCoy. In the front court, McCoy now waits on the rest of her team. Now turns around and fires a 3. Good. Well, everybody left her, and she was able to bury it. That will make the score 54-32. 3:06 left to go. Here's a shot put up, a 2-pointer by Bailey Hudgens. That's Bailey's first points of the night. Gets her team back to within 20 at 30, or make that 54-34. Just 2:47 left. Holden hook shot good. 13 points for Holden off the bench. Extending her team's lead to 56-34. 2:34 left. Hudgens with the basketball. Makes a move inside the arc, goes down to the block, kicks down the wing to Custard. Custard, a floater, is off to the right. Rebound's going to be retrieved by Lloyd Memorial's Ham, who goes coast to coast and lays it up and in. Leah Ham with the layup. Makes it 58-34. Just a couple of minutes left. And now ball knocked away, and turnover gives the ball back to Lloyd Memorial. McCoy goes coast to coast. Nobody cuts her off, and she lays it up and in. We'll have a quick timeout while the teams get new faces in there. For Harrison County, Allison Dye, 5'4" sophomore in there. Edison Rowe returns to the floor. Maddie Carson back in there. She's a 5'2" sophomore. Also Lauren Hicks, 5'6" freshman. And Madison Jones, 5'6" freshman as well. Several new faces for Lloyd as well. We've got Kenya Williams, a 5'8" freshman, along with Mercedes Frazier. Good to see her back out there. Lorelei Tomlinson, a 5'8" sophomore, is in there. We're going to have ball knocked out of bounds by the Juggernauts. Kirsten Young stays in there for quality control. Jordan Bettis is in there. She's a 5'4" freshman. I think that's everybody. With the basketball is Lauren Hicks, and she falls down, but it's because she was pushed. Foul's going to be on Lorelei Tomlinson. That'll be Tomlinson's first. And send Hicks to the line for the first time this season. First one's on the way and off to the right. She'll have another, however. Minute 39 left, 60-34 your score. Harrison County trailing. Second free throw is good by Hicks. So get her name into the scorebook. Makes it 60-35. Across the timeline with the basketball comes Frazier. Now getting the ball down low and laying it up and in is Kenya Williams. So Kenya Williams, the freshman, gets her name into the scorebook. Dye across the timeline. Crossover dribble in the paint. Dumps it to Carson. Her 15-footer is no good. And on the rebound, that's going to be Tomlinson. In the front court for Lloyd Memorial is Bettis. Bettis gets the ball to Frazier. Frazier on the near side to Williams. Williams in between the circles to Bettis. Bettis being guarded out there by Rowe. Pass on the far sideline to Frazier. Frazier drives to the basket. Her layup is missed. And Lauren Hicks will come down with the rebound. Now Rowe puts up a 10-footer, no good. And down with the rebound for Lloyd Memorial is Kenya Williams. Frazier with the basketball, under 40 seconds to go. With the basketball, Bettis. She'll get it in the corner to Tomlinson. Tomlinson gets it back into the hands of a teammate. Now the ball's knocked away, but a loose ball's picked up by Lloyd Memorial. Loose ball on the floor, and we're going to have a foul called on Madison Jones as she pushed down Mercedes Frazier. So that'd be Jones's first personal. And Frazier will head to the line. Frazier's first trip to the line tonight. 13 seconds left, 62-35. This game was much closer than the final score is going to indicate. Going into this fourth quarter, Harrison County was only down by 5. Second free throw also no good, and Madison Jones comes down with the rebound. Jones across the timeline, gets it in the far corner to Carson. Carson to Hicks. Hicks, Hitchcock, yeah. So Lauren Hicks gets the final bucket, but in the end, Harrison County loses by a final score of 62-37, mainly because of a fourth quarter that was all Lloyd Memorial. Well, we'll take a break right now to get all our numbers calculated and figured and come back with our post-game show where we'll talk about those numbers. We'll also have a chat with Coach Watson as well as name our Judy Construction Company player of the game. But once again, in game number 3 of the Riverview Meat Company Tip-Off Classic, your final score, Lloyd Memorial 62, Harrison County 37. You've been listening to Philly Basketball on WCYN Sports.